Hello and welcome to Mission Investor Exchange's recorded virtual learning opportunity. I'm Carla Moreno, Program Coordinator here at MIE. I'm excited to introduce today's webinar hosted by Mark Rand, Founder and Managing Director at Community Capital Advisors, in conversation with Kayleen Alvarez, CEO of Athena Global. Mark and Kayleen will discuss impact investing with a gender lens, an approach that focuses on women-led organizations, which have historically been underfunded compared to organizations led by men. Before I turn it over to Mark and Kayleen, I'm going to share a few words about this MIE platform. For those who don't know, these recorded virtual learning opportunities, or VLOs, are a platform for MIE members, along with other invited experts, to share their learnings with peers in a short webinar. Hosts will have the opportunity to teach and inspire, whether getting into the weeds on an innovative impact investment, sharing highlights from a white paper, or offering a cautionary tale from their experiences. We hope to lift up your most compelling ideas and actionable insights through this platform. Now, without further ado, we are joined today by Mark Rand and Kayleen Alvarez.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Rand with Community Capital Advisors. I am so happy to be speaking with my friend Kayleen Alvarez from Athena Global today. And today we're going to talk about impact investing in the world of gender lens and having a gender lens to impact investing. What does that look like? What does it look like to invest in companies and organizations around the world led by women of color, led by smart entrepreneurs that are having difficult times accessing money for whatever reason. So it's a great topic. Kayleen comes to this work with years of experience living it around the world, fellow Peace Corps volunteer, and just super excited to talk with Kayleen. Kayleen, welcome. Thank you so much again for spending the afternoon with me. And just a brief kind of overview, if you would, just about yourself, about the company, and then let's just dive into some of the questions.
Now, thanks, Mark. It's always good to talk to you. So I'm so happy to be here with you today. My name's Kayleen Alvarez, and like Mark said, I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer. And the company I founded, Athena Global, is just over 10 years old. And I kind of founded the company in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis. I've been working in mergers and acquisitions on Wall Street, but I'd also started as a Peace Corps volunteer. So my experience with finance is kind of bookended by both of those experiences. And I wanted to start a consulting and advisory firm focusing on using finance as a tool for positive social change. And that is the whole ethos behind Athena Global. So we've been working in the market about 10 and a half years, providing advisory services in impact investing and gender lens investing, in microfinance, in digital banking, in participatory finance. And then most recently, last year, we founded a lending platform for women-owned businesses in Indonesia. So now we are a financial intermediary as well as a debt fund.
You have a lot cooking. I'd love to focus the conversation on a couple of those topics, specifically around women. And historically, let's be honest, women have been the stronger of the two sexes and helped humanity move through the ages. And but yet there's been a dearth of capital that goes to women-run companies. Why, in your opinion, does that exist when there's a smart business plan and a smart leader and all these great things that on paper, in my opinion, if it was a man, they would be able to get capital. If it's a woman, or God forbid, a woman of color, they face other obstacles. Can you just level set with folks?
Listen, I can try, because you just ask a lot of really loaded questions that would probably get me kicked off of some webinars. And so let me try to answer that. For me, I don't actually understand the reason. I'm just to the point where I'm acknowledging that there's a deficiency. And I think the problem is twofold. So on one hand, I think part of the problem is the systemic bias in that you still have a very homogenous set of individuals who are making the decisions globally about who gets money and how money is allocated. And listen, let me just be very clear. I have no problem with men. I love men. And I think gender lens investing is as about men as it is about women. And we can talk about that later. So let me just be clear. I'm not bashing men.
I like men as well.
Perfect. So I'm not bashing men here, but I think we have to accept the reality that finance, when it started 400, 500 years ago, was a system built by men and for men and around men building businesses. And the world has evolved around that. But unfortunately, the decisions about who gets money and how money is allocated is still largely in the hands of men. Like there's different reports out there, but statistically, what we can say is that of the $58 billion private equity venture capital industry, less than 2% of the money goes to women of color and Latinx women, and less than 7% of the money at all goes to women. And what's even more sad is that Native American women aren't even counted, right? At least in the US. So I think that I say that as a starting point because I think that we have to acknowledge that men are still making the decisions about what we invest in and how money is allocated. And I think one of the things that we have to recognize is that I don't think women are any less risk averse than men are. I think women just look at risk differently. And so until we have more diverse teams on investment committees or as portfolio managers or as fund managers, we're only going to get a certain set of outcomes because we're not allowing that diversity into the decision-making process.
And
The
diversity,
sorry
to cut you off, diversity just from a gender lens, not even diversity from race and ethnicity and gender. It's just, the first cut is just men
gender.
and women. Yeah.
That's the easy cut, but
Yeah.
I've looked at probably close to 100 different actual portfolios of investments and banks and financial intermediaries to even just better understand how men and women perform differently within investment portfolios. And I can tell you, I've only ever worked with a handful of clients that even gender disaggregate it. And in fact, if you look at the banking sector, there's only 3 central banks in the entire world that mandate sex disaggregation in a portfolio for a bank. And so I think that's part of the problem. And I can certainly talk anecdotally, if not on a statistically significant way, that diverse teams always outperform from a financial return perspective single gender teams. But what we're also seeing is that diversity goes beyond gender. Is that when you include socioeconomic diversity, ethnic and racial diversity on an investment committee or in a C-suite or on a board of directors, you get better decisions overall. But certainly, if we're just looking at, women are a little over half the world's population, then absolutely gender diversity is a big part of diversity.
Gosh, it's just amazing.